tradition to recognize staff who have given of themselves to this community with a 3-year staff t-shirt, a 5-year staff t-shirt, a 10-year fleece. So I'm not going to do the math because you are defying the numbers that I would say by how you look, so I'm not going to even say it. But needless to say, I want to gift you all of those years because you deserve all of them for all of your service. And I know I speak for anybody who has been a part of this community. None of us could do any of this without you, and we are so grateful for all of the dedication and time and love that you have shown this community. So thank you. One for each decade. Oh my God, that's so funny. Pam, would you like to flip it and say I'm good, thank you. Anybody who knows Pam knows that she's not going to give a speech. That's not going to happen. So we are going to do this open mic style. If you'd like to come up and share a couple of words about Richard and raise a glass, please do so. I will be very brief and I will say, Richard, certainly, I can't even do it, y'all. My life would not be the same without what you have started here, and my family's life would not be the same, and I'm forever grateful.
Way back in the fall, well, actually, I guess it was the winter of 1961, this guy came into our living room in Newton, Massachusetts, and he had an idea. He didn't have a place, he didn't have a staff, but he had an idea, and he showed us slides of what this place that he wanted to call Interlaken. He showed us slides of what it was going to be, like. And it was an inspiration. It was enough of an inspirational talk to have my parents somehow take a chance and send my brother and me off to Interlaken for the first season of camp in 1961. And inspiration is really the word that my friend Richard carries with him wherever he goes. He's inspired hundreds and thousands of people here. He's certainly inspired me. My whole educational philosophy was formed here. But more importantly, it's been the friendship that we've had over the last many, many years, I can't even do the math, that I want to toast. So for all of your inspiring moments and for our long time friendship, here's to you, Richard. Thank you.
That was great. Hey, Steve.
Okay, so to start this, I have to get Richard to open my gift, and then I'll explain it. Okay. So you just pull on this.
You want me to go to sleep?
No. I did use the cocaine because it seemed like a good way to wrap it.
I have one more thing I need to say. No,
Go ahead.
I don't. Okay. Oh my. Oh, look at this.
Okay, so this is when I was trying to think about one of the reasons I came to this place for this weekend was to pay tribute to Richard, who has created such an incredible place for all of us, and for me personally was really life-changing. When I came here as a 15-year-old camper, I just honestly could not believe that a place like this existed on the earth. And then I went on to be a counselor, and I went on Crossroads Britain, and then I had the incredible joy to spend a summer with Richard directly at the Israel Friendship Camp. So I wanted to figure out how can I possibly pay tribute to someone as influential and important in my life as Richard? And so two things happened. First of all, I found all of my Interlochen memorabilia from the 1980s, all the old songbooks, and a huge amount of promotional materials, and also some old photographs. And then I thought, well, I'm going to create a collage with all of this wonderful, all this memorabilia that I have, but I've got to find a canvas to put it on. And it has to be in the shape of a banjo. And luck would have it that I found, first of all, that Richard enjoys birding, and that somewhere on Etsy was a bird house in the shape of a banjo. Score. So I took all of my memorabilia from all the years. There's cut up pieces of the songbook, of the program planning, of various quotes from me, a few pictures of me, of Richard, and all of what Interlochen means to me personally. And I just want to say that it also has about 1 million layers of polyurethane, so it can be outside. And I just wanted to use this to express my love for you.
Great memories. Yep. I'll enjoy reading everything on here. That's so nice.
So, hi, my name is TK, and this is interesting. I feel like the young person in the room. That's not the way I usually feel at camp. So, I never had the distinct honor and pleasure, Richard, of working at Interlochen or with you. I came during the Jake and Carrie era, but I still feel this deep connection to what you've created. It's much, like in the Olympics, that you lit the flame, and you've passed that torch around to everyone that I'm speaking to now and thousands of other people around the world. And for a camp that was founded around this notion that if you just bring a whole bunch of people together from different parts of life and parts of the world, that you can gain better understanding of humanity. It's like you have achieved your goal. All right, you've done it for me, and you've done it for so many people. But that's actually not why I'm up here to say. This is a little thing. At the end of each session, there's an award ceremony we do. This plaque, the Platinum Goggles, has been sitting in the boathouse for 11 years on the wall. I just unscrewed it 10 minutes ago. As things happen at camp, you do them 10 minutes before it has to be done. And your grandson, Josh Herman, has been awarded these Platinum Goggles, actually, just not this one. And his name adorns the boathouse. But your name belongs there, Richard, because my first memory of Richard Herman is, I think, of the first summer I was here, 2013, this spry young man waltzes down to the waterfront, swims out to the dive tower, does a handstand and does a flip off of the dive tower. And I'm like, ooh, that guy's got it. He deserves the Platinum Goggles. The Platinum Goggles has a specific award description. This recognizes the camper, or camp founder, who embodies the best of what it means to be part of the Windsor Mountain International community, or Interlochen community for that matter. The recipient is kind, caring, and always willing to extend a hand or paddle to both fellow campers and counselors alike. The recipient of the Platinum Goggles is also fully invested and engaged in a wide variety of waterfront activities, including but not limited to swimming, diving, boating, fishing, rope swinging, saunaing, sand sculpting, sunscreen applying, and of course, leech removing. So Richard is now declared, by the power vested in me by the state of New Hampshire and Windsor Mountain International, Platinum Goggles recipient emeritus.
Roller Booth couldn't be here, so. When I showed up here in 1997, we had a horse trailer, 2 dogs, and a cat. You made the upper parking lot a horse arena for us. You took a chance on me. It was amazing. You've done a lot of amazing things for people over time, but my best friends, people that mean the most to me, come from this place. And that says a lot about you, how it's a pebble in the pond, you used to say. It's the ripples that come out. You've created a lot of ripples, and they're amazing. The time that we spent, you mentored me. I was my dream to start my own summer camp, and you gave me that dream. Because instead of just focusing on Interlaken, you said, let's talk about your dream. And all those years that I was here, you never let me not think about that. And then we were able to start our own summer camp because of you. And we love you for it. So thank you.
I want to say something about carrying the torch. You and Jack and Carrie, the four of you, have carried the torch forward.
Yes, Mari.
You've carried the torch forward in ways that I could never have imagined, and I'm so grateful for all you've done to focus on the values that are really important in the place, and happy to hear how much it's helped you grow also. So I just want to say a huge, huge thank you for doing such a marvelous job for many, many summers and winters.
Yes.
And spring and fall. And mud and everything else. Yeah. So thank you guys. Yeah. And I'm the same thoughts I extend out to Jake and Kerry, who have carried that torch also, wherever they are. Thank you guys. It couldn't have happened, it couldn't have continued without you carrying it proudly forward. Absolutely. It's really true. So thank you so much. Of course. Thank you. Yeah.
So I've had a different experience here from almost everyone except for my two lovely sisters. And, you know, it's one thing to go to camp here, but then towards October, it gets quieter and quieter, and then for quite a few months, it's really quiet. There's nobody here, and you're just going off to school every day. And what an amazing playground, what an amazing place to grow up. To never know who's going to walk across the deck looking for dinner or looking for some story to be told and some adventure to go on, whether it's a magical mystery tour or an airplane flight or a summer camp in Israel or China or wherever it is. So I have gone on from this experience to live and work in different places in the world and really appreciate the incredible international experience that I had 365 days a year here with all these amazing people from so many different places. So thank you to you and Mom and Sarah and Melissa for making such a wonderful place.
Hey everyone. This is such a special and sacred space. But something I think that, you know, we talk about the bubble, is how that's traveled around the world. And how many people here went on a Crossroads or a Windsor Mountain Student Travel or Global Routes? How many people, keep your hand up, if you had children that attended a program, if you led one of those programs? I've been so fortunate to be able to be a part of that experience all over the world and to see the bubble and those values percolate in communities everywhere. There's one fall I spent a week visiting a lot of the communities that programs had gone to in Nepal, and just seeing all the families talk about the students that they hosted and what they learned from them and what was drawn from this community was so powerful for me. And so, yeah, Richard, I'd I'm so grateful for you taking a bold risk and starting this place and inviting people, and yeah, it's had such a huge impact on everything that I've done since I stepped foot here. So I'm so grateful for you and for this place and everyone that carries the torch. So yeah.
Well, these reflections are really so inspiring, and I'm so grateful. And I want to say, with all the creative energy that you put into thank you. With all the creative energy that's been poured into this, making this enterprise happen and keep alive as it is right now, it could never have happened with people who shared the dream that we all had together, and put their heart and soul into making it all happen. And I'm so grateful for all of that. And I feel I want to just say I just want to say a special thank you for the team, because it takes a team, we all know, to make really important, even small things to happen. And that's what we had here, was an integrated team of very creative and smart folks. Otherwise, it wouldn't have worked. It really, that's my feeling about it. And you know who you are, whether you were lucky enough to be receiving or lucky enough to be able to give to make it happen. So thank you, all of you, for what you've done. Hear, hear. Or the compliments that you've offered. And thank you. What's that?
I love you. So,
She's a graduate, you know.
I am. I was in college, and I grew up in Keene, New Hampshire. I never knew about this place. My parents didn't know about it, but it was probably happening in my spirit somehow. But I went to college, and I was in the Career Center, and I was fumbling through opportunities for the summer, and I saw Camp Interlochen, Hillsborough, New Hampshire, which is really close to where I grew up. My dad drove me here, Fast forward, I sent a letter, wrote an email, whatever. No emails, I'm sorry, this is a very long time ago. But I don't know what happened, but I ended up in the living room of this wonderful place. My father dropped me off. And I had an interview in their living room with Susan and Richard and Gary, and it was like, I was like 20, and I felt like they were just bowing to me, and I was only 20. They were sort of like, wow. And they all I was being honored, and I'm like, wait, this is an interview? Like, I was blown away by this feeling of like welcomeness, and I'm kind of campy, it's sort of my tendency, but I felt like belong. Wow, like I think it was my first interview ever, and I was interviewing to lead a bicycling trip. So I remember the interview questions, and then I remember I think it was Richard or Gary or something, said, so you think you can go find some fishermen somewhere, or you can I don't know, find, and I'm like, sure, and they just kept asking me these like spontaneous creative questions, like, yeah, sure, I could do that. And so my first summer I led a New England trip from Bar Harbor down to Boston with 14-year-old boys and a male guide. So that was my kind of my immersion into the Interlochen experience. I had training here. I never spent a summer here. I regret that, but I kind of was immersed in the Crossroads training. And then, I loved it, of course. And then the next year I was off to Europe. I graduated from college and I was off to Italy. And I think I spoke with you guys, and they wanted to do, you think you can do a trip from Rome to London? I'm like, well, yeah, sure. I guess I can do that. And I rode my bicycle around, I rode my bicycle around that summer to Europe, and I was taking notes all the way, and this is with maps and stuff. And then that following summer, I think I wrote a very skeleton itinerary and something, and they published it, and it got sold. And then all of a sudden in Rome, 14-year-olds arrived, and John Lee and I were guiding a trip from Rome to London. I'm like, wow. And then Gary's like, did you find any fishermen? And I'm like, well, yeah, I guess we did. But I mean, it was just like, wow, like magic happened, like without really a lot of planning, and just like, and then it just like is amazing. And I like everybody else said, this sunk into me, like magic happens with just the vision, your vision, and you were just so welcoming to like a 20-year-old just saying, sure, I'll find you guys some fishermen. I'll find a village in France, and sure. And we had no plan. There's John Lee over there, hey, John. So anyway, I want to thank, and then I came back over the summers with my kids to family camp, and all of you have all your stories. I don't want to take anybody's time, but I love you and I care about you, and thank you so much for everything that you've done for so many, and you've been such, and when I've come back, he's always been so welcoming. So anyway, thank you all so much, and thank you.
You're welcome. I'm so proud of what you've done.
Oh, thank you.
Really,
Thank you.
Really. Yeah, sure.
So unfortunately, my parents were not able to be here, but for around half of my dad's life, this place has like really shaped who he is, and for probably like 2/3 of my mom's life, it shaped who she is, and I wouldn't be the person I am today if it wasn't for this place. It really is my home. For almost every single year of my life, I've only missed 2 years. I've spent between 2 or 4 or sometimes 5 months here, and this has shaped me more than anything on the outside. This is what's made me who I am. So I just want to say thank you for being the person that had the vision to create this place that has shaped me and many others just like me. And for bringing my father here in the first place. I heard that story, a very crazy story, but so thank you for all that. A lot of other family members have been here, a lot of other friends have been here, a lot of people from my life back home in Jamaica have been here, and from many other countries as well, so I just really want to tell you thank you.
Love you,
This is too tall. So over 20 years ago, Fitz's school came up here for a school group, and he came home telling me how he spent all night. They were up into the wee hours playing music, and he said, this guy says we've got to come up to camp. We've got to come up and be the family that lives at camp. I was home with 6 very, very small children. It was crazy. But Richard is persistent. He came by our house, I think, once a week for dinner that year, trying to convince me to come up, and I kept saying, absolutely not. I'm not going to be chasing 6 very small children around while you guys play music. It's not happening. But again, Richard is persistent, and he managed to talk me into it, and we came up here and absolutely fell in love the first day we were here. Our kids have grown up here. Tommy, who's around here somewhere, has been here every summer of his life with Omri. And now they're living together out in Amherst. It's just amazing what this has done for our family. So thank you for your persistence, Richard.
I'm just going this way.
He's got a footnote.
It was a sad day at camp when we learned that our dearest friends, Smitty and Sarah, couldn't return the following year because they helped us. They were a part of our soul, and we loved their music and were very, very close friends. And I was sad, and I said, well, it's a great moment to celebrate. Maybe we could find somebody. And I looked and looked and looked. And then I met both of them. Yeah. And I said, I think maybe we found somebody. And we sure did, because they were able to bring the same heart and soul and love to their work here as Sarah and Smitty. And that's saying that's the nicest compliment anybody could receive. So I want to thank you both, but also take a tribute to Sarah and Steve, who are, I'm sad to say, not with us any longer. So just, that's the footnote.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Oops, sorry. Hi, my name's Curtis. Sorry, I'm gonna get emotional. I grew up in the brick house just down the road, and a lot of the kids who grew up in Windsor, Hillsborough, of my age, you know, they all lived kind of similar lives and, you know, had similar interests, and I very easily could have been just another one of those, you know, kind of poor rural kids from New Hampshire. I don't know who first described to me the story of, you know, my great-grandfather's legacy and his relationship with you and how the camp came into being. That really had nothing to do with me. I was just a kid who was told, you get to go to camp. And when I did go to camp, it changed my life forever. And maybe the better way to say it is saved me. You know, I was exposed to a worldview and a philosophy that maybe I never would have experienced or seen in my everyday life. And certainly it gave my life purpose and direction and filled me with, I don't know, a belief in these core values that I have tried to dedicate, you know, the short years of my life so far to seeing alive still in this place. And I don't know what to say. I'm so thankful for this small act of generosity that, you know, completely fundamentally changed who I am as a person. And thank you so much, Richard.
If you'll indulge me, I think you will.
Wait.
One more footnote. I said to my dad when I was finishing college, I said, well, you know, he asked me, he said, what do you want to do? Now I provided you with a college education, so what do you want to do? Do you want to, you know, be an engineer or something, or this or that? And I said, I'm really not sure. So he said, well, tell me something that has brought you great joy in your life. And I said, well, you know, the most outstanding experience, I was about 12 at this point, was going to camp. I went to Camp Frank Day that was based at Hawaii in Newton. And then I went to...
Microphone.
Hold the mic, please.
What's that? Oh, okay. Yeah. And then I became a dedicated Boy Scout in the days when Boy Scouting was as great as we all wanted it to be. They're making some progress. So, maybe. And anyhow, so I went to Scout Camp and I absolutely adored the experience. And it was the best of experiential learning that I had ever known about. And of course, that term wasn't even used in those days by educators. But I came around to recognizing what experiential education was and how powerful a force it can be within a school or at a camp or any learning center. And you all know what it is, because it's the heart and soul of the learning that goes on here at this place. So my dad said, well, so what do you want to do? So I said, well, you know, it's probably not possible, but I want to start a camp, summer camp, because that's what I really love. That's the answer to your question. And he said, well, I have a friend. They were lunch buddies. And I have a friend who lives in New Hampshire, and he ran a place called Windsor Mountain Camp for boys. His great-grandfather, Grampy Hines, he went by. And so my dad made an arrangement to have lunch in the meeting house, which is now the beautiful building that Jake and Kerry helped happen. And we had lunch, and Mr. Grampy Hines said to me, "So, young man, why are you here?" And I said, "Well, my dad thought you might be able to help me here, a lifetime of experience, so let's get together." And the kindness and generosity of him and his ability to vision what could happen was wonderful. And that was the beginning. So he said, well, he got a piece of paper and we wrote out a plan for year one for Interlochen Camp. You know, what we have to do, what I have to do. And that's how I met Steve Hahn and other people who became central to the success that we enjoyed. I just wanted to give you a little bit of the inside story of how it all happened, because many people have asked me. So I was a lucky guy, you know, to meet a person with those qualities of generosity and kindness and good energy for an older person. So that was the first step. And here we are today, you know, at least 60 years, maybe more, you know, after that lunch in the meeting house. Just wanted to share that with you.
Hello folks, I'm Mark Gordon. How many of you drove up yesterday or today and felt like you were coming home? Richard, look at how many people feel like this is their home. I came here in 1965, 9-year-old boy, overprivileged from the tri-state area, Jewish upper middle class, some of you know the syndrome, and I encountered kids from the deep south here, and we sat in the pine grove singing "We Shall Overcome" before the Civil Rights Act 1965 was passed. A lot of people in this country couldn't vote when I came here. Social justice was what this was all about when I came here. Worrying about our world, worrying about our environment, worrying about the community of the world. And it really was an international camp. It was through UN diplomats who were sending their kids here in the first couple of years that my parents found out about this. They were brave enough to trust Richard and Susan, who were far too young to be running a camp at the time, who were recruiting counselors who were far too young to have any responsibility for children. And somehow, so many of us survived. It is astounding the survival rate at Interlochen, against all odds, because they should have lost a lot more campers. And I was a camper here for 65, 66, 67, 68, and then I went on Crossroads, Scandinavia with Steve Hahn. And then I was a counselor. When I was 18, I was a counselor, and my girlfriend Nancy, with whom I've been negotiating for 53 years now, came up. And they let, even though she wasn't a counselor, we were able to take a bunch of 9-year-olds out on a trip. And I have no idea why they let us have this responsibility. It's really quite remarkable the trust that you placed in so many people. And you created this community. And it is a community, and it does feel like coming home. And in this current world of toxic polarization where everything is us, them, to have such a big us is a remarkable thing. And you created that. You gave me the values that have sustained me, my lust for learning, my thirst for travel. I've worked in 134 countries now, negotiated ceasefires, hostage negotiations, new constitutions, and the social justice that you imbued in me is a primary driver in all that I've done over all these years. So for all that, Richard, I thank you.
What a blessing it is to be here with all of you this weekend. All of these people came either directly for you or because of what you and Susan created all those years ago. And it has been incredible to see all of you connecting and being together and rediscovering this place or coming back again, I don't think I could encapsulate in 45 seconds what impact you have had on my life, on my family's life. We had no idea what we're getting into 15 years ago, which is a good thing. It has been an incredible ride for us. I was never going to be you when I came in here. I'm still not you. I can't. No one's you. But I can tell you what Carrie and I wanted to do from moment one was to carry on your legacy and to carry on what this place is all about. You gave me one of the greatest compliments I've ever received right over there on that picnic table. Well, probably a different one because that one probably was retired. You were here visiting either Simon, Felix, or Miriam sometime maybe 2012, something like that. And you and I were having lunch together over here, and you looked out at the insanity of lunch at Windsor Mountain on the deck here and everything happening, and you turned to me and you said, "This feels like camp." And that was, to this day, an incredibly meaningful moment for me, to know that what we set out to do, even back then, we were hopefully on our way of keeping this place what it was, what it is. I can tell you, you should all take solace, and you should take solace from knowing that a week ago, a lot of kids left this place feeling the same feelings that all of you had when you were campers, and understanding the meaning and the feeling of being here and being home. And that legacy continues because of what you started. And a lot of people have been talking to me about, oh, these buildings are nice, and the treehouse, and this and that. And yes, they're nice buildings, but they pale in comparison to the thing that brings us back here every year, and that is the people that populate this place, some of whom second generation families and maybe soon to be third generation families. And that's what makes this place still what is important and what it is today. And that is a testament to you. You have lived a life with meaning and impact. And as I said to the staff about a week ago, and I bet you all would agree with this place literally changes the world. You know, it sounds like a cliche, but if you look at it and you look at the people who come here and what they do and what they bring out into the world, it has changed the world. So I can only hope to live a life with half as much meaning as you have, and your presence in my existence has been an absolute gift. Thank you to you.
The deepest, meaningful experience. Thank you. Michael. Michael, have you been here a while?
I've been here a while. 57 years, I think, is the right moment. When I first went on my crossroads abroad to Scandinavia in the very heart of the 60s. The greatest time to live for any teenager ever. I'm sorry to gloat, you've missed it, too bad. But anyways, Steve Hahn, who was completely unprepared and probably not safe to take us to a country filled with waterfalls and girls. And then I'm sitting in my office many years later, and Richard calls me up and he says, I don't know if we know each other, but I have to start a camp in Israel. Can you help me? I said, Dick, Dick Herman from my youth. Crossroads Abroad. He says, yes, I remember. You're Margie and Bert's kid. Yes, and then we did start a quite complicated camp in a very complicated place called Afula. We used to. And we had egg and so we did have a budget. That was true. One time, my wife and my little daughter, who's now a bigger daughter, sitting there. We're in our hut, and my wife came out and said, "There's a serpent in the hut," but she couldn't remember the word in Hebrew. Nachash. Then she remembered Nachash, Nachash, and the guy from next door came in with a hatchet and chopped the head off. Right as it was going around the crib of my daughter, and Richard said, "Oh, save the skin. It will be great for the art room." I'm missing the danger point, but okay, that was what it was. All right, a blessing for my friend Richard. May the one who bless our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rachel, Rivka, and Leah, may also bless Richard Herman, all the people that have been affected by Richard Herman, the people that were affected deeply by him, and the people that were affected passing by him, the people that were only affected, but now they think that they're affected, the people that loved the music because it was banjo, the people that thought the banjo was mistuned, the people that thought the guitar was great, the people that could play mandolin, all of his incredibly musical grandchildren, all of his other grandchildren that are here and there everywhere, the travelers and the people that go on adventures, the people that believe in mystery, the people that have imagination, the people that don't have imagination, but at least curiosity, the people that don't have curiosity, but they want to have curiosity someday, the people that open up their hearts, the people that see other people that they never would have seen before, the people that come to New Hampshire because of you, only because of you, because all those people, and the people that came and they have good ideas and good vibes and new ideas, and they run and they walk and they swim and they sail and they canoe and they kayak and they go through the swamps and they go into the forest and they go up the mountains and they go to places that they would never gone before, and that they go to places that they would never gone before in their minds and their hearts and they're open in their soul, and that they all can embrace you, and all of you need blessing and energy and good vibes and support so that we can give you, so that you can live bis 120 to 120. L'chaim baruch atanoel nochalam borei pri agofen. Amen.
They can carry it home with them.
There's a saying in Hebrew called Baruch Hashem, right? Something happens, good, say Baruch Hashem, thank God, Baruch Hashem. One time we were driving in a car with Catherine Colson, the log lady from, you can't imagine the people that we collected, from Twin Peaks. And we hit a porcupine, and Richard wanted to know how you say porcupine in Hebrew, which is kipod. So then he started saying Baruch kipod. Not thank God, but thankfully the porcupine.
Wow, that was excellent.
Were you there for that?
All right, everybody. Last call for the open mic toast. Anyone?
Go Felix.
Anyone? All right. Felix is going to close us out. Thankfully that it's not me.
So Richard is my grandfather, and he can. At times, our relationship is just like a normal grandson and a grandfather. He buys me sweet things. But he can seem like a normal person. But then, when I come to a place like this, and I talk with all of you people who have all been touched by him, I realize what an extraordinary life he has lived and how much of a superhero he is. And excuse me, the combination of appearing normal but really being amazing is very inspiring to me, and I hope that I can emulate that in my own life. So, thank you.
Time for the jig.
Yeah, we're gonna ring the bell for dinner in about 10 minutes. So thanks everybody for sharing with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.